through their surveillance and were able to do a takedown on that car and take the individual into custody on the existing warrant out of Michigan. What happened after that was kind of alarming to us. As they investigated the case, they found that our suspect was a Romanian who had tried to come into the country on the Mexican border side in 2021 and was denied, and then was picked up in the Virgin Islands trying to come back into the country in 2023, and then was granted access to our country. So this traveling criminal was granted access into our country and has been wreaking havoc all across the United States pretty much since then. We know today, and there's a lot of information coming in, we know today that he's done crimes from the state of Washington to the state of Texas to Michigan and a whole host of other states in the middle, here in Florida, definitely across the entire state of Florida, where he has used his false identifications to perpetrate these crimes and create a significant amount of loss for jewelry stores specifically. As they were investigating the case yesterday, they started looking at the entire family. The wife was wearing high-end jewelry. A 10-year-old boy was wearing a $40,000 Rolex, which was stolen the day before from Collier County. The 4-year-old daughter was wearing a significant piece of jewelry around her neck. And as they searched the car, they picked up a pillow. What's the name of the pillow, Sarge?
Squishmallow.
A Squishmallow pillow. Whatever that is, I don't know. But it felt awkward. And they unzipped that pillow and found about $400,000 worth of stolen jewelry, Rolex watches, high-end jewelry, high-end diamonds in that pillow, along with $33,000 in cash. Our detectives tried to interview our suspect. He played dumb, and then when they started asking more pointed questions, he just clammed up and didn't know what they were talking about, allegedly. So I'll tell you what we know about him so far. We know for sure that he's been wreaking havoc across the state of Florida. We know he's hit the country. The question will probably come up, why has he not been arrested before? And he's used his illegal status, his anonymity in the country to perpetrate these crimes. He had multiple fake IDs yesterday. I think he had 3 different fake IDs on him yesterday. And so now really is where the work begins, getting into his phone and figuring out where they've been, identifying all these pieces of jewelry and who they were stolen from and where they belong, and then really figuring out across the country how many people he's affected. So there's a lot of cases that are going to be made as a result of this. He's currently sitting in our jail with no bond. His wife is free right now, but we did reach out to Customs and Border Patrol. They are aware of her and are tracking with her. But at this time, she's not in custody. But she is likely to be arrested down the road for state crimes and then probably crimes outside of our jurisdiction. So Nate, I gave you a lot of information quick, and if there's something I missed, I'll try to get through it through the questions. So I'll kick it to you guys.
How did they steal the jewelry?
The question is, how did they steal the jewelry? And the answer is, it was sleight of hand. So it's our understanding that he would go, he's a good talker, he was well dressed, would go into jewelry stores. He would present a lot of cash, not necessarily give it to him, but show that he had a lot of money on him, and then ask to see multiple pieces at one time. And through the surveillance video that they recovered yesterday, he was extremely good at palming just a small piece of jewelry, give the majority of them back, but a combination of showing that he had the ability to buy it, then getting multiple pieces out at one time, and then just sleight of handing and leaving quickly after he got the piece of jewelry. So that's our understanding on the one case. How he got the rest of them, we're not sure.
So he'd quickly put the jewelry in his pocket that he wanted, and he'd leave the store?
From talking to the detectives, they used the word palming, like he would somehow keep it in his hand. He was really good with sleight of hand activity.
And this happened here?
This is the one that happened in Stuart. That's the only video that we currently have.
What's the name of the jewelry store in Stuart?
Vero & Co.
What is it?
Vero & Co.
Barrel and Company, Barrel and Co.
How do you spell that?
Don't ask me that. You know I can't. I need a spell checker. I'm not sure. Barrel and Co.
Berrryl.
It's located right there at Colorado Avenue in US 1.
Okay.
And they would sell also the jewelry, because what the cash, where did that cash come from? They would also buy and sell, or?
Not sure. We know that there were a few aliases used to pawn jewelry throughout the country. So we do know that pawning was one form of liquidating some of this jewelry, but we're really not sure if it stayed here in the United States. In the past, we've seen, especially in these Romanian gypsy-style cases, where it's shipped back to Romania, and then our individuals go back over there and sell it. So we're not sure at this point where it was all fenced.
What did it say when he's apparently flaunting the stolen goods on his own children? I mean, he's kind of confident, I guess, when you look at this?
I would say it's not as much as confident, but utilizing the entire family to perpetrate your crime, which we've seen in the past. The entire family, from small children all the way through him, are involved in this. And then truly, if a regular deputy that does not have the back information on the case stops a car like that, you're not going to interact with a child and seize a $40,000 watch off a child. In fact, I wouldn't think it was real. I would think it was fake. And the same thing applies for the daughter. So I think he was more using his children, not flaunting. I think he was using his children to hide his wares. You know, the pillow that we just mentioned was a child's pillow, something that most of us would never look at. Other than yesterday, quite frankly, we probably got lucky, or we have really good detectives that felt that pillow and said something was odd.
You said that you guys recovered like 400,000 in that Squishmallow.
Yes.
Do you believe that was like most of it, or like do you think that there's still some out there like in his home? Like, are you guys going to do like a search warrant at all? Like, find more?
So the question is, do we believe there's more in a home? And the answer is, we don't know where his home is.
Okay.
He's been all over the United States. I think he's got an address in Washington, but again, he's provided so many fake identifications. We're not sure where home is for this gentleman. So I think currently what we have is what we're going to be stuck with, unless we get other information from other agencies, which they're working on that today. This is a tangled web that they're trying to untangle, and it really will take a lot of legwork, detective work, to track down where the jewelry came from. Today we had a professional jeweler in there today, just identifying exactly how valuable it is. Some of those watches specifically are serialized, so we're trying to piece together exactly what we have.
Is this another case of wrong exit arrest, in your opinion?
The question is this another case of wrong exit arrest, and the answer is absolutely yes. He traveled the whole country. We got him here in Martin County. Actually traveled the world probably, and we've got him here in Martin County. And we're going to keep him here. He's not getting out of jail. He's not going to bond out of jail and continue to run around the country perpetrating these crimes.
The sheriff, you said Collier County
Yes.
contacted you about a vehicle, and that's how you're still on?
Yeah, the question was, did Collier County contact us about a vehicle? And the answer is yes. They put it out statewide to all the real-time crime centers, and our analysts were working back there yesterday, and we're checking out some of our technology, and we're able to figure out that car was here.
So the victims in this case, or the victims in all these cases, were jewelry stores in several states?
So the question is, the victims in this case are jewelry stores in several states, and the answer is we don't know who all the victims are. We've got all this jewelry, watches, jewelry, we have some gold, and we haven't identified where it all came from. So we know what we got yesterday here. We know that the one watch was stolen out of Collier County. And it's going to be a big task, actually, to positively identify who the jewelry is stolen for. Of course, we have to be careful now that different individuals don't come in and try to claim some of these items that we have. So it's going to be a process to identify all the victims and exactly who they are and where they came from.
How many people are in the family?
The question is how many people are in the family, and the answer is it's that we know of, mother, father, and 2 children, a 10-year-old and a 4-year-old.
Were the family members helping him steal this stuff in a jewelry store, or did he go in by himself?
The question is, were the family members helping him steal it? And the answer is, we don't know about the holistic picture, but we do know yesterday that he went in alone into the store and stole what he stole. Now, as we piece this together and get video footage from other counties, this may be a whole different story. I know yesterday, the state of Michigan, there's a sheriff up there that he was ready to load his warrants guys up on an airplane and come down and get our defendant and take him back to Michigan. But we're like, no, we're gonna get our first bite at the apple here in Martin County. So there's other jurisdictions that are quite happy that he's in custody and waiting their chance to get a piece of the action also.
What did he take from this jewelry store here?
The question is, what did he take from the jewelry store? It's my understanding that was a high-end necklace.
Are you going to be able to provide that surveillance video, do you think, or we shouldn't expect it?
The question is, are we going to be able to provide the surveillance video? And the answer is, from us, it's not our case. Stuart Police Department, it was actually in their jurisdiction. They did not know we were taking the suspect into custody, and they only found out after the fact that we had him. So we're working jointly. We may be able to provide it. I'm just not sure where that video lies currently. So.
I know you said that the wife might face charges and be taken into custody. About the kids, like, do you know if they'll be, like, if that happens, like, will they be taken into, like, a juvenile detention center, or, like, what would happen to them?
So the question is, what would happen to the children if mom was arrested? And that's a complicated answer. They definitely will not be put in juvenile custody because they haven't done anything illegal or wrong. But the first thing that we would, as a sheriff's office, would do is to look for other family members. They're from Romania, so I don't know where their family members are. There's also the immigration issues. If she's taken into custody on the immigration front, then they have their own protocol. So I'm not sure exactly how we will deal with that. But again, if she's involved in this crime, if we can prove she's involved, we absolutely are going to arrest her. Clearly, she knows what they're doing. They're traveling the whole country with a lot of cash on hand, perpetrating these crimes, but we have to be able to prove it.
They're a fairly young couple.
They are. Yeah, the question is, they're fairly young, and the answer is yes. I believe he's 33 years old or 30 years old. He's a young man.
Where is she?
Where is she currently? I don't know. We yesterday, again, reached out to Customs and Border Patrol. They have her information. They've dealt with her 2 times already, but currently don't know exactly where she is. We had to release her yesterday.
So do you worry that she's gonna be slipping out of the country before you guys can track her down again?
The question is, do I worry about her slipping out of the country before we can track her down? And the answer is, it's a possibility. Am I worried? No. Eventually, our goal is, after they do their time here, is that they all end up back in Romania where they came from, and they stop victimizing the people in the United States, and specifically the people here in Martin County.
So how did they enter the United States? You're saying all 4 of these people, the 2 adults and the 2 kids,
Yep.
are here illegally?
Yeah, it's my understanding, yes. So it's my understanding that they came to the Mexican border in 2021 and were denied. And then they were taken into custody in the Virgin Islands, and at that point they were released into the United States. But in talking to our federal partners yesterday, they were giving orders to go back to Romania, and they had not gone back. So they're here illegally, according to our federal partners.
They were arrested in the Virgin Islands?
They were taken into custody for trying to come back into the United States, and were actually then released here to the United States, according to our information that we have.
How'd they get from the Virgin Islands into the United States?
That's a good question. I have no idea.
Okay, so you don't know how long they've been in the country illegally then, do you?
I don't know at what point it went from being here with the status that they were given at that time in 2023 until it was switched to, you're here illegally and you need to go back. You have a deportation order to go back.
So people at home may look at this and say, what are you going to do with all these fancy watches and jewelry and gold coins and stuff? Do you guys keep that eventually and use that to buy law enforcement equipment, or what happens to it?
Well, our number one goal is to get it back to the victims that it was stolen from. We want to get it back to who it belongs to. It's going to be a real task to do that. Some of the watches will be easier to figure out through their serial numbers. Some of the gold pieces, the coins specifically, there's some pretty high-end coins in there. That'll be difficult to take back. So as we progress, and in theory, if we don't return everything within a year or so, eventually we'll take it and sell it at an auction. So, but that's not our goal. Our goal is to return it to who it belongs to.
And do what with the money that if you sell it at an auction? Where does that money go then?
Into our general fund to offset whatever costs that we have.
Can you tell us about how many pieces of jewelry there are?
The question is how many pieces of jewelry, and I have a photo of it. It's a significant amount. I'll provide that for you. I'm not exactly sure.
From when you guys got like the first tip about this to when he was taken into custody, like around how long was the whole thing?
Well, I was listening to it yesterday. The question is, how long did it take from the first tip to the time they were in custody? It happened pretty rapidly. I would say within a half an hour. From our real-time crime center putting it out to our detectives actually going out and finding this car, it happened quick. So it was good work done by our detectives, and thankfully so, because they were headed to the entrance of the turnpike, which is where they were arrested, to go out of the county and leave us. So, and they come in here, committed a crime, and we're leaving already.
So you think they hit one jewelry store in Stuart? They didn't break into any houses. They didn't like go into a Publix and reach into some lady's bag and steal her jewelry out of her purse. I mean, they don't, when you say distraction theft, it wasn't that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, the question is, do we think they hit one only? And the answer is we think. We don't know for sure. And you're right. You've seen these gypsy-style cases where they do that type of distraction. We don't know. We just know what they did yesterday. We know what the few agencies that have reached out to us that have dealt with these individuals, we know that they were primarily jewelry stores that they went into. But as you see with these traveling criminals, they can get their hands into anything. That's an opportunity for them. Is that it?
Well, I mean, the obvious question, what is your reaction to this? What do you think of this situation?
Well, somebody alluded to it earlier. I'm extremely proud of our detectives. This is the wrong exit. They've traveled from Romania to come here to victimize our citizens here in Martin County, and we won't stand for it. We have a robust system in place to head off these traveling criminals, and when they come here, we'll take them into custody, we'll prosecute them, and we'll make sure that our victims are taken care of and that our suspects are put in prison where they belong.
How do they fool a jeweler who does this all day long, who sells merchandise to the people who walk in off the street? How do they fool a jeweler like that?
The question is, how do they fool a jeweler? And the answer is, we don't know. We actually talked about that this morning. Like, as a jeweler, and you have that value of jewelry that you're putting out on the table, we would caution jewelers to be extremely careful not to put multiple pieces out, one piece at a time. But in the case that we had yesterday, and in the other cases that we've heard about, these were instances where they talked them into getting multiple pieces of jewelry out, and then they just kept one of them. So the message to jewelers and jewelry stores is to be extremely vigilant. I don't care what they look like coming in the door. I don't care how much cash they have in their hand, which this guy had $30,000 in cash. Pay attention to what's going on.
When you said they, you actually mean just he did this all on his own?
On this one, yes.
So do you mind just repeating again, how did this guy, was he a magician? Through sleight of hand, he must have practiced this a lot, right? He rehearsed what he was going to do?
Yeah.
What do you think?
The question is he a magician? And the answer is, I don't know, but he is extremely gifted at what he's doing as far as his sleight of hand. It is a sleight of hand, it looks like, where he comes in, asks for multiple pieces, and then just was able to palm one and keep it. And clearly, based on the amount of $400,000 worth of jewelry, he's been pretty successful in his crime spree.
When did the jewelry store know that they had been, I guess, robbed?
The question is, when did the jewelry store realize they'd been taken advantage of? Almost immediately. When he walked out of the door, they realized it almost immediately. They called 911. Stuart Police Department responded to that, and while they were responding to that call, our detectives were taking this individual down because they knew he was wanted on warrants for doing this across the country.
Does he have a criminal record?
The question is, does he have a criminal record? And the answer is, we're not sure. We know he's been arrested elsewhere, but because he's here illegally, because he's got multiple aliases, we've got to track who he really is down and compare fingerprints to figure out what his record really entails. Is that it? I know that was a long interview, but a lot of information, so hopefully you were able to share it.
David.